Kroger have brought peppers from Israel, and we need to take Terumot Maasrot from those peppers. Hearing about this special mitzvah we do only from fruit from the land of Israel, I went on Friday to Kroger and went over all of the peppers until finally I found the last Israeli pepper in Kroger with the sticker of the Gilad blue and white on it. Buying this pepper, I thought it could be a great opportunity to teach and learn about the special mitzvah of Terumot Maasrot. What is it about? What's the spiritual idea behind it? And how do we do Terumot Maasrot? There's a great difference between the land of Israel and other places. A great difference in the way we keep mitzvot. In the land of Israel, almost everything we do is connected to mitzvot, to spirituality, to Hashem. We eat, we drink, we live. Everything we do has a mitzvah, has holiness in it. We make challah, we take challah from the dough, midoraita, from the Torah law, not just the rabbinical law, like out of Israel. We plant a field, there's ways how we plant the field. We pick the fruit, we have the mitzvot of Maasrot. So many mitzvot which are connected to the food, to the physical level of life. And that is one of the special things which we have in Israel. Even our physical life, our materialistic life, even that is holy and part of a great path which leads us up and up. And now to Terumot Maasrot. Terumot Maasrot we take from every fruit, vegetable, grain which is grown in the land of Israel. When we finish with the fruit, when it's all ready, after it's picked and packed, that's when we take Terumot Maasrot. There's two kinds of Terumot, 2 or 3 kinds of Maasrot, as we will see. Terumot comes from the word tarimu, to lift up. It is something which is given to the Kohanim, and the Kohanim have to eat it only when they're tehorim, when they're pure. Maasrot is something which we take aside from what we have. Could be 1 of a 10th, echad me'eser, like the word Maasrot, and we give it to the Levi, or we bring it up to Jerusalem or to the poor person. Let's begin from the way I went to the field and I picked the pepper. What happens now? From all the peppers I have, we take a bit. According to the Torah, it could be 1 pepper for thousands of peppers. Our sages gave more of a measurement to be like a nice eye to the Kohen, and that is called Truma Gdola. The first Truma we give could be even a small amount which we give to the Kohen. In the olden times, the times of the temple, they used to give around 2%, more or less. After we give Truma Gdola, which could be even just a small amount, we give 1/10. This is Maaser Rishon, 1/10 of all of the crop to the Levi. And the Levi can eat it. He doesn't have to eat it when he's pure, and actually, even someone who's not a Levi, even he can eat it. This is called Maaser Rishon. It uplifts us, it connects us also to the Kohen and also to the Levi who serves in our name in the temple. But also the Levi wants to uplift his food and to give it to the Kohen. So the Levi gives Terumat Maaser. Teruma, as we said, it's uplifted from the Maaser. And he gives 1/10 from what he got. He gives 1/10 to the Kohen. So if the Levi got 1/10, he gives 1/10. He's actually giving 1% from the whole crop. 1 out of 100. After we give Maaser Rishon, we give Maaser, another Maaser, and it's or Maaser Sheni or Maaser Ani. It depends on the cycle, on the year cycle, in the Shemitah cycle. Every 7 years we have the Shemitah year. This year is the 6th year to the cycle. Next year will be Shemitah. In Shemitah we don't work in the field. We don't give Maaser since all of the fruit belong, or we see how it belongs to Hashem. It doesn't belong to us. But in the other 6 years, we have a cycle of 2 years, 1 year, 2 years, 1 year. The first 2 years we give Maaser Sheni, and then 1 year Maaser Ani. Then another 2 years we give Maaser Sheni, and the 6th year, like this year, we give Maaser Ani. Maaser Sheni, we take 1/10 of whatever is left, 9% of the whole crop, because 1/10 we gave to the Levi. And Maaser Sheni should be eaten in Jerusalem. All the nation goes out to Jerusalem and eat and are happy in front of Hashem near the temple with all of the food that they have, and bless Hashem for the food we receive. Now, since technically it's hard to bring all the time all of the food, doesn't last, the Torah says we can change the Kedusha, the holiness, and transfer it to a coin. And with this coin, which adds up to many coins, we go to Jerusalem whenever we go, usually on the 3 holidays, and buy food. That's what happened, that when people came to Jerusalem during the Shlosha Regalim, the 3 holidays, they had plenty of money to buy food with, since they've been saving all of the Maaser Sheni, and could come to Jerusalem and enjoy and be happy, all of the nation together. And the Torah gives us also another Maaser, to think also about the people who don't have Maaser Ani. The poor, we have the mitzvot of tzedakah and other mitzvot got to do with the crop, leket, shechicha, and pe'ah, to give to the poor people. One of them is Maaser Ani. We give from the crop, we give it to the poor people, and that happens in 2 years in the cycle of the 7 year. The 3rd year and the 6th year, like the year we are in now. If we take it all together, a person who takes Maaser in the olden times would give 3 kinds of Maasrot. He'll give the Terumot Gdola, the first Terumah to the Kohen, which could be even a small amount. He will give 1/10 to the Levi, and then he will give or Maaser Sheni or Maaser Ani, one out of the 2. The Levi will give from what he got, he will give Terumot Maasrot. So altogether we have 4 kinds of Maaser, which will be giving from 1 kind of fruit. And now, after we learned what we do, let's do it practically. First, we should know that from the papers we get from Israel, it's not so sure they're obligated in Maasrot. Maybe in Israel already the rabbis took Maaser from it, we don't know where exactly it came from. Maybe it came from a place in Israel where it's not obligated in Maasrot, and a few other reasons. That's why when we take the Maaser from these papers, we take it without a bracha. And we're a bit more lenient in the amounts we take, which means Maaser Rishon, which we should give 1/10 to the Levi, we actually just give it a name. We say this area, for example, will be Maaser Rishon, but in the end, we eat it. So let's just take out a bit more than 100, a bit more than 1%. Why a bit more? The Truma, we need to take out the Truma part, the part which should be given to the Kohen and eaten in a holy way. So the Terumot Gdola, the first Truma that we give, we said it can be even a small amount. And so our sages said to give around 2%, but now we can give whatever amount it is, even a small amount from this pepper. The Levi gave 1/10 of what he got, so it's 1%. That's why we will take a bit more than 1% of this pepper. So I'm cutting off a bit more than 1% of the pepper. And in the text I'll be reading in Hebrew, I'll be saying that this more than 1%, which I just cut off the pepper now, it will be also Terumot Gdola, the first part of the Terumah. Then somewhere here we'll have the Maaser Rishon. Let's say the top area will be Maaser Rishon, which we're supposed to give to the Levi. And out of the Maaser Rishon, the 1% will be the rest of what I have here in my hand. In the years when we need to give Maaser Sheni, so I will have to have a coin, which I say this coin is instead the holiness from the Maaser Sheni will be transferred to the coin. Now, when there's no Maaser Sheni this year, since we are on the year before the Shemitah year, so we'll just give a bit of tzedakah instead of the pepper to a Levi. A few times in Israel I gave actually fruit. Usually technically it's hard to do it because until you find a poor person, so we just give a coin, and for different reasons in halacha it's better to do it like that when you don't have a poor person near you. So I read now the text in Hebrew. We can also find it in English. And as I said, at this time there's no bracha, there's no blessing, since maybe someone already took Maasrot from this pepper. And we begin, as I said, from the Terumah הגדולה, and we continue on to the rest. משהו יותר מאחד ממאה מן הכל שיש כאן, הרי הוא תרומה גדולה בצפונו. והאחד ממאה שנשאר כאן עם 9 חלקים כמוהו בצד העליון של הפירות הללו, הרי הם מעשר ראשון. I just now declared this part here to be a bit more, a tiny bit to be Terumah גדולה, and a tenth, which 9 parts of the tenth are here and 1 part of the tenth is inside here, to be Maaser Rishon. Now I'm left with Maaser Shani or Maaser Ani. In the text we have, we say it will be Maaser Shani and or Maaser Ani depending on the year. So I'll read it. עוד 9 חלקים כאלה בצד התחתון של הפירות, הרי הם מעשר שני, ואם הם חייבים מעשר עני, הרי הם מעשר עני. After we declare מעשר שני, as we mentioned not this year, we transfer the holiness into a coin. And we say, מעשר שני זה הוא וחומשו, הרי הוא מחולל על פרוטה אחת מן המטבע שיחדתי לפדיון מעשר שני. As I said, this year we don't need to say it. And now, after we took the Maasrot, now we can eat the Israeli pepper of the taste of the Holy Land. That needs a bracha. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי האדמה. Wow, that's a great pepper.